Hey, powerful people. Maybe you're like a lot of people. You're overwhelmed, overscheduled, and just feel like you can get nothing done because you have so much going on. Well, I want to talk to you about some mistakes that people make when it comes to planning out their life and what they are not doing. So, we'll start off with the first one here, and that's scheduling things back to back to back. So, having your schedule so full that you're going from 6 in the morning until you hit the bed at night, whenever that is. And we've got no time in there for breaks, for ourselves, for breathing, for transitions. So we want to have time in between things to do a couple things. One is to transition out of what we were just in. And whether that's we need to take notes for a meeting that we were in, or we were at a kid's game and we need to just have some time in between things to celebrate a win, potentially a loss. But we also want that time to transition into whatever is coming up next, get whatever resources we need ready. So this just allows that time. It also just allows us time to breathe, time to eat. There's a lot of people that just work through lunch, work through meals, and without food, they're not fueled and they're not ready to take on their next task. So making sure that your schedule isn't so booked that you don't have any time to do simple little things like eat and just breathe and just have moments to reflect on what's happening. So next, we all have friends, but sometimes we just don't hang out with them enough. And I've had a lot of friends that say we should hang out more, and it just doesn't end up happening. But we need to make sure we have this time because between managing households, having a job, having a family, all these different things can be overwhelming, and friends are a great outside perspective, and they can bring us a lot of joy from a different aspect, and we can have a lot of fun with them. So making sure that you're scheduling time with friends is important. Even if that's just a coffee date here and there, but doing it fairly regularly is important. And if a friend tells you they want to get together, instead of saying, yeah, I can see when I'll fit you in, you say, what are we going to do and when are we going to do it? This just makes it very intentional that you know you're going to hang out with them. Another thing people do is trying to manage too many projects at once. And normally when we say this, we think about the idea of project management as a job and having to manage all these different jobs at once. But as humans, we are all project managers of life, whether that's taking care of a house, taking care of a family, taking care of yourself, having the job and doing the things you need to do for that, building a side hustle. All these different things are kind of projects. And in a study done by H. Stein on project management, it says that after managing 3 projects at once, your effectiveness goes way down, and it leads to unclear accountability, bad decision making, control issues, slow response time. So all of these things are really bad when you're trying to manage something and make it grow. So in your life, you have to look at what projects you're managing and really only focus on 2 or 3 of those. And you can obviously manage more things if you have support from outside to be able to help pick up some of those little tasks within that project. But your brain and your functionality can really only handle 2 or 3 projects at once. So something we've all been guilty of, I'm sure, at least I can say this myself, of not writing things down in my schedule. Something will pop up and you'll say, oh, I'll remember to do that, or I'll remember when that is. But there's a study that says we're a lot more likely to remember something when we write it down. And now handwriting it is a lot better because it involves a lot more of our fine motor skills rather than just typing it into a calendar. But still, typing it into a calendar gives your brain that actual effect of it's in the calendar, it's happening, rather than trying to remember it. When we try to remember things, we also just get caught up in moments and forget what is happening, what day it is, what time it is. So writing these things down and having reminders set if you're doing it with technology is really helpful, that you don't have to remember what's happening. You can also put a note in the calendar of anything you have to bring, special things you have to wear, whatever it is for that event. So write down your schedule as soon as something comes up. It just frees your mind to think about other things rather than having to remember what your day-to-day looks like. So another thing that I've been guilty of sometimes is flying by the seat of my pants day to day. I don't have a schedule for the day or sometimes even for the week of what I'm going to be doing. And this is dangerous because it can lead to frustration of those around us, not knowing what our schedule looks like. It can lead to frustration within ourselves of not feeling like we're actually getting things accomplished because it's taking us so long to get from task to task, or we have no progression towards a goal. So when we have this plan, when we have things scheduled out, it leads to less stress for us and those around us. It can lead to not wasting time in the moment trying to choose what we want to do and get into that activity. And finally, we can actually see our goals happening because when we plan things out, we can see those steps laid out for us as we set toward a goal. So another thing is we have a lot of tasks in our life, and there's a lot of little ones that we have kind of creep up in our life, and sometimes we just put them off to the side, but if we don't get to them, they can be nagging, and we think about them every once in a while. We go, it's just a few minutes to do this, and we go, I'll do it when I get home, and we forget just because we get busy. So setting aside a time that we can just binge small tasks. So maybe that's a half a day, maybe that's a full day, maybe that's even a week, depending on what your life looks like. Just setting aside that time that you can say, all right, here's my list of the little 20, 30-minute things I need to do. And they're not large projects, but you just need to do them. So if you get them all out of the way at once, they won't distract you as you go from task to task and you go, oh, I remember I need to do that thing. Because if you jump into those little tasks in between your larger ones, you're not going to be as efficient in your larger tasks because it's going to be distracting. So no matter who you are or what you're doing, we all have aspects of our time management and scheduling life that we lack on. And we can use so many great tools, whether that's handwriting a calendar that's bullet pointed day by day, whether that's writing out just larger tasks for the entire week, or whether that's just using technology to help remind us of things going on that we don't have to remember ourselves. No matter what it is, we all need to work on being able to be the most efficient with our time that we can. So if you found this video entertaining and helpful, please hit the like button and subscribe. That way I know you guys want more of this, and go out and create more.